Come on, mommy. Easy. Good afternoon, everyone. Hold on. Take spit. This is Lady Dragon speaking. It's now almost, Sam saying hello to everybody. It's almost noon. Et un petit bit. Ouais. Regarde, t'en as des ballons là. Channel. Yeah. Oui, ici. Spit. Spit. Tipette. Tipette. Ici là. Viendra dedans, là, Tipette. Let me t'occuper. Bon, it's almost noon. We're gonna go check the voting result. Bienvenue tout le monde. Il est quasiment midi. Il est 11h56. On est mardi. We're Tuesday, September 27. Sam saying hello to everybody. We are going to check where Sam's saying hello. We are going to check to see where we are at with everything. Attendez une seconde là. Mes flûtes sont tout mélangées là. 1 second. My ducks and dragons are all mixed up. Bon. C'est rock'n'roll aujourd'hui. Hein. Ça. Bon. Attendez une seconde. Attendez, bizarre. OK. OK. Là, qu'est-ce qu'on... Voyons, qu'est-ce qu'il y a là? Qu'est-ce qui arrive là? On va continuer. Là, on va voir, on va regarder RT pour voir les dernières nouvelles. Les nouvelles que j'ai, bonjour Maurice. Les nouvelles que j'ai, c'est que tout le monde était au-dessus de 50%, donc le référendum, le résultat va tenir. So, what I have is the referendum is over 50% of turnout, therefore the result will stand. So now we have different information. I don't know where they are at with all the, well, I know that almost 20% of the Zaporozhye has been unveiled, and they all voted to go with Russia. How can you not vote to get with Russia, you know? You want to have bombs fall on your head? Then there's nothing I can do. Bon, fait que c'est ça. Fait que là, j'attends juste que ça commence, là. Je vais switcher quand que ça va arriver. Hey, salut Martine. Hey, merci pour l'information, merci. Et puis là, on a l'affaire de la pipeline, là. Ça, c'est vraiment, ça me concerne, ça. Hey, s'ils font sauter des pipelines dans l'océan, là, c'est pas bon pour les animaux de l'océan, là. I have a problem with that. Puis le monde va freezer en Europe, je te dis qu'ils ne trouveront pas ça drôle. Anyway, on parlera de ça plus tard, là. Là, j'ai faim, fait qu'on va regarder ça. Puis après ça, je vais aller manger, puis je vais revenir plus tard, OK? So I'm hungry now. I'm going to go eat after, and then we're going to come back. Okay, we'll come back as many times as it is necessary. Je vais revenir plus tard. J'espère qu'on va avoir d'autres résultats plus qu'on a eu tantôt. On s'en va là dans quelques secondes. En tout cas, le point X, c'est que ça va finir positif. C'est ça que ça veut dire. Après ça, c'est historique aujourd'hui. Point is, it's going to end in a positive way, and it's historical for today. So, here we go.
Paul Slayer, and you're with RT International. Good to have you with us. And now to our top story. Voting has finished for the referendums on whether to join Russia, and the ballots are now being counted in the independent Donbas republics, as well as 2 breakaway regions of southeastern Ukraine. As the polling stations have now closed after several days of accepting ballots, let's take a look at preliminary results of the referendum. According to the preliminary results, 96.75% of the votes in the Kherson region were in favor of joining Russia, while in the Donetsk Republic, that figure was as high as 98.63% of votes in favor. And in the Zaporozhye region, 93.11% said yes for their homeland to become a part of Russia, while the figure was 97.77% in the Lugansk Republic. The republic's head has said the results testify to the unity of the people there.
The most important thing is that the referendum took place and we cast our votes. As in the distant 2014, we united and showed our unity to the whole world, despite the fact that the Ukrainian nationalists did everything to prevent the referendum from taking place. They intimidated people. They shot at us. The ballots for the referendum, in which we voted for joining Russia, are now being counted.
Artist Igor Zhdanov in the Lugansk Republic and Roman Kosorov in Donetsk brought us the details about the referendum results being tallied.
The 5-day voting process is now over. The voting areas have now been closed and the count had begun. Now we already know that the turnout at this referendum was very high. The first 4 days of the voting took place with referendum committees walking around from home to home, asking people to cast their ballots. And now we find ourselves at the information center here in Donetsk People's Republic. It's working, well, I can't say 24/7, but it's working well into the late nights, and this is where the results, the final results, will be announced. We have foreign media here. We have international observers also doing their hourly briefings. International observers, by the way, are here from all, at least, well, several countries of the continent. There are 130 of them here, in fact, and this is where we are expected to hear the final results of the referendum. We're expected to hear something by about 10 o'clock Moscow time in the evening, but judging from what we have seen so far in the counting of the vote, the results will be overwhelming in favor of joining Russia.
No one forces us to come. You can see it yourself. People come voluntarily. I'm so happy. I'm about to cry.
People were crying with joy. There were people from the Russian-controlled territories in Ukraine who said, "This day has finally come. I'm so glad I lived to see this day."
I'm really happy. We've come a long way and I've been waiting for it for ages.
Those were some of the voters that I spoke with over the last 5 days of the voting. Once again, they came out en masse to show their support, to do their civic duty, if you will. Now, many of them had tears in their eyes. They were waiting for this day for the last 8 years, and it's finally arrived.
The polling stations, they have closed, and the election committees, they're busy counting the ballots. Basically, people here, they've been dreaming of this moment for long 8 years, some even longer. Right now, at the polling stations where the ballots are being counted, the atmosphere is quite celebratory. It's a holiday, it's a festival here, and some have even popped champagne and bottles of bubbly in celebration already. But the road towards this day has been very thorny, I should say. During the past 4 days, during the previous 4 days, people only could vote at mobile polling stations, meaning that buses with ballots would come to different neighborhoods, districts and towns and villages, and locals were given the opportunity to cast their vote without having to collect large crowds of people, which could become targets of terrorist attacks. And these fears, they aren't in vain, because Kiev authorities, they have been shelling the adjacent villages, the adjacent towns, and basically doing everything in their power to intimidate the local population so that they don't vote. But we can already see that the process, that the referendum has been a complete success from the standpoint of the authorities here. And this is the reality you won't really see in Western media. You won't hear that from Western politicians who, for example, the foreign minister of Germany, she outright said that the voting is happening at gunpoint, but for all the wrong reasons, suggesting that armed men are walking around here with the members of the election committees and are forcing people to vote, which couldn't be further from the truth, I have to tell you, based on what we've seen, based on what our colleagues have seen, and probably most importantly on what the international observers have seen as well. And indeed, it is fair to say that the voting here is happening at gunpoint, but the guns are pointing from the side of the Ukrainians who, again, I have to reiterate, they have been shelling polling stations over the course of these past days. Members of the election committees and local civilians, they had to repeatedly and regularly hide in bomb shelters as their process was interrupted in several little towns around Lugansk, like the towns of Alchevsk and Rubezhne. And our crew did prepare a report on the atmosphere, on how this vote has fared so far. Have a look. Kiev has repeatedly claimed ownership over the citizens of Donbass, and at the same time has been doing everything in its power to antagonize them. Its military has been shelling the population here with howitzers and heavy rocket launchers. Planes dropped bombs on people's homes and children. And now the authorities in Kiev are making it abundantly clear that anyone who is dropping ballots into the ballot boxes at the referendum will be persecuted with no mercy.
Ukraine proposed up to 5 years in prison for anyone who dares to vote, and that's just the tip of the iceberg of repression. There's a plethora of ways to lose all humanity in Kiev's eyes here and be condemned with the stigma of being a so-called Russian collaborator. 8 years of war have somewhat numbed the people here to the outright abhorrence coming from Kiev's government, which considers them its subjects. But while they're used to it, it doesn't mean they aren't heartbroken.
It's such a bitter feeling when your motherland turns its back on you. Well, the land you had always thought to be your motherland. It's very sad.
I am so angered by this, but this is war. That's all I can say.
We aren't living in Ukraine. We are living in the Lugansk Republic, and we do hope they won't be able to get their hands on us.
And sure, all these threats could have been a bluff, grandstanding at an international level, a trick in Ukraine's domestic policy game. But Kiev itself shattered all hopes of that.
All collaborators who somehow reveal their names, there is a whole list of the surnames. They are all people who have signed their death sentences. We are not bloodthirsty. We are officially saying that we'll only accept a legal decision. Life sentences for traitors.
As citizens of the Donbass flock to the polling stations in the millions, it's not just Ukraine that remains oblivious to their plea. Germany's top diplomat, Annalena Baerbock, outdid Kyiv's own propagandists when she suggested the real situation with the vote here resembles a poorly written R-rated movie.
People are voting with a gun pointing at their heads, and this is exactly what such referendums are about. People are shot at, raped, and then obliged to vote while a soldier armed with a Kalashnikov is standing right next to them. If we now accept it and let it be, then it will be repeated in other places. It will serve as an invitation to further violate international laws.
As Western politicians and media push the narrative of a people voting at gunpoint, reality on the ground points to a very different threat facing those wanting to cast their vote at polling stations.
Public areas in the Donbass are being shelled by the Ukrainian military every day. Kyiv's undercover hitmen bomb pro-Russian officials and liberated regions on a regular basis. Diversion groups are also active behind the defensive lines. But the German foreign minister chose to omit all of that. It doesn't fit Ukraine's heroic facade promoted so hard in the West.
They're locked into this narrative, and it's been ongoing since 2014, that the people of the Donbass have no agency of their own, that they are essentially automatons doing Putin's bidding. So that was obvious that that's how the West would interpret any election or referendum outcome. The problem is that they haven't come up with any evidence of this. Show us the evidence that people are being forced at gunpoint to go and vote. There isn't any.
About a quarter of the population here are holders of Russian passports. Just under 1 million people whom Ukraine is eager to evict to the 21st century gulags. And that's to start with. Under the proposed bill, drawn up in co-authorship with members of the Azov neo-Nazi group, freedom of speech goes out of the window. Support every whim of Ukraine's government or be jailed.
Collaborators will be considered those citizens who have denied the armed aggression against Ukraine and the occupation of its territories, or have publicly called for support for the aggressor, for cooperation with the occupiers.
The final and the most decisive day of the referendum is here. And it's about to show just how many people have decided to personally sign their divorce papers with Ukraine once and for all. Amiga Zhdanov reporting from the Lugansk People's Republic, RT.
Around 1.5 million people had cast their votes in the Donetsk Republic by the end of the fourth day of voting. In the Lugansk Republic, the latest data shows the turnout exceeded 90%, while in the Kherson and Zaporozhye regions, the turnout was roughly the same at 63% and 66% respectively. We spoke to the president of the BRICS International Forum, Purnima Anand, who came to the Donbass as an international observer. She says the mood of people there contradicts the Western establishment narrative.
I found that people about whom we were hearing that they are under the gunpoint or they are having control by the Russian army, we found that they are very free. They are participating in the referendum like a celebration and festival. They are really giving message to the world that there is no fear, no any pressure, and they are taking their own right. Even Russian government did not participate. They only provided logistic and infrastructure to the Lugansk and Donetsk people to conduct the voting. When you come to the real grounds, then you will understand what is the reality. From United Nations office, you cannot say everything. So this is not fact, whatever in international media is going on, and it is most of the time there is a fake news. During last 9 months, we observed that so many fake news circulated to the by the Western media to Eastern world and whole world.
Also, we've got reactions on the referendum from 2 Greek politicians who visited St. Petersburg to promote strengthening ties between Russia and the EU member state.
I believe the current referendums are fair. We speak about a territory in which the population has faced genocide, the risk of being completely erased. The referendums on whether to join Russia were a matter of survival for them. They didn't have much choice. Ukraine, for its part, did have a choice. To avoid the referendums, they only had to respect the rights of the Russian population of Ukraine, their language and autonomy, their right to exist. However, they persecuted the Russian population, making them flee abroad. They acted against themselves.
I think it's sure that all of the West will say that they don't recognize the results and they are not worth of speaking about them. Maybe we will not find even the results in the Western press.
With voting now wrapped up, we'll keep you updated on the results and what the future holds for these regions.
Bon, ben là, vous avez vu que là, on a des nouvelles personnes qui sont venues parler. Des personnes, la chose, là, il y a la pipeline, là. On ne parlera pas de la pipeline, on va parler tantôt, là. Mais là, je vais rester sur le sujet de... Là, je veux voir si TAS a des résultats. Parce que là, les résultats sont en train d'ouvrir, là. Là, de la façon que j'ai compris ça, il y a 1000 observers. Okay, the way I've understood this whole thing, there's 1,000 or something of the sort observers. Okay, I want to see if RT has. No, I want to see if they have. A special on the result. Let me just see that. But I know if they don't, I know TAS does. So we're gonna go see. So qu'est-ce que tu fais là? I know TAS does. Give me a second. Oh, I know plenty of people have the results. And this is historical day, my friends. This is really, really good. Hold on. It's lunchtime for my squirrels and me and everybody. Okay, what am I looking for here? Sputnik News. Okay, yes. The enthusiasm is huge. Le monde sont super contents. Je regarde là, qu'est-ce qui sort. Les fuckers ont un grave problème là. Vous savez que la réalité va frapper là. Les fuckers. Oh! Et eux, il y a une coup fire à un international observer. Ah oui, j'ai entendu parler de ça. Ils ont frappé. Tu sais, ils ont frappé l'hôtel de Mourad. You know, they hit the Mourad Hotel. And now, I heard yesterday that they hit. Hold on a second. They hit a place where the international observers were at a polling station in Kherson. Et they hit a school. Ah, regardez, c'est marqué ici là. Ils ont frappé une école où ce que les international observers étaient là. Ils parlent à quelle carte de langage qu'ils parlent, lui, là? On va regarder là.
Applies to 20.
Regardez une seconde. Attendez une seconde, j'ai toutes mes flûtes mélangées là. Il y a tellement d'affaires là. En même temps là. Puis j'ai faim en plus, ça allait pour la situation. Bon. C'est ici, comme ça. Bon, je vais voir lui quelle langue il parle. Bon. Là, c'est une place, c'est une école. Ça, c'est une école où il y avait les votes avec les International Observers, là. Puis c'est fait frapper. OK? Tu vas pas me dire que c'est par accident, là, hein? The international observers were at this school with the voting thingy thing, and they were bombed with missile. So they're not pleased. So trust me, they're not winning the hearts of the observers. Ok, sinon, qu'est-ce que tu fais là? Attention, marche pas sur mes affaires, sinon. Attention. Sinon, il vient d'arriver. Hello, Snow. Je pense que mes petits écureuils, ils n'ont plus de nourriture. Non, mélange pas les cartes, là. Attendez juste une seconde. Les petits oiseaux, ils n'ont plus de nourriture. Je reviens. Et je vous dis, aujourd'hui, là, c'est rock'n'roll. Les petits oiseaux, ils n'ont plus de nourriture. Tiens, ça. Une autre affaire aussi que je veux vous dire, que, comment qu'elle s'appelle, la Foreign Minister de l'Allemagne a fait une très belle job à élever la population contre eux autres, les fuckers. Elle fait un très bon travail. Elle a dit que les voteurs, ils étaient violés, tués, forcés à voter. OK? Là, tu as 1000 international viewers, là, 1000 international observers, là. Eux autres, là, ils se font frapper dessus, là. OK? Fait qu'ils sont pas. Eux autres, ils viennent de différents pays, hein? Ils viennent pas du même pays, hein? Fait que quand t'as bien, là, que. Eux autres, là, ils vont dire que, voyons. La madame de l'Inde, elle a dit, mais voyons donc. Elle a dit, j'ai été dans plusieurs polling stations, puis il n'y a rien arrivé de ces affaires-là, là. C'est des menteries de l'Ouest. Puis l'Allemagne, elle compte des menteries. So, this lady, well, and I use this term loosely, she's a great, what she's saying is, she's a great advocate for what's going on there. She's saying lies that she's saying they're getting raped, they're getting gun pointing, and she's doing a great job to make them look like a bunch of fucking buffoon. Because they are look a buffoon. Because they are lying. Their lies doesn't even stand, okay? They have international observer of every single country that I've seen, a bunch of countries, okay? Different countries, not all one country, different countries. And they look, she did a great job to make look German like a bunch of buffoon. Let me tell you, okay? Ça me dit qu'est-ce qui arrive. J'ai l'air d'une gang de buffoons, c'est ça qu'ils ont l'air. Fait que, hey, le monde, ils vont lire, ils vont voir la vérité des choses, puis ils vont voir ce qu'elle a dit. Ils vont dire, ben voyons donc. Elle a compté les menteries. C'est ça le but de l'histoire, hein? Spit, viens-moi, mamie. Spit, viens-moi, mamie, là. Laisse faire tout ça, là. Il était ici, là. Fait que... ça n'a tellement pas de sens que ce qu'elle dit, là. La femme, là. Again. It's be a clone of the fuckers. Ça n'a pas de sens, ça patente, là. Juste passer 5 minutes, là, regarder ce qu'on peut sortir de tout ça, là. Hello, Shireen. Ah, you're German foreign. Shireen is from Germany. Hey, your foreign minister. She a great buffoon, eh? 10 stars to her. She said they're getting raped. Shireen is from Germany. She's in my audience. Yeah. C'est ridicule, là. Les affaires qui peuvent dire. Moi, je veux juste savoir ce qui arrive avec les élections. Les autres nouvelles, on les fera plus tard, là. OK, c'est ça. After 50% of the ballot in Zaporozhye, 93% of the voters of Zaporozhye voted 93. 50% of ballot open and 93% said yes. C'est pas compliqué, là. Bon, ça, c'est la nouvelle de Sputnik. Moi, je veux savoir TASS. On va regarder ici, là. Je vois les derniers résultats, moi. Cursor start counting vote. While le count. Ok, je vais voir si je vais avoir. Attendez une seconde. Il y avait l'action aujourd'hui. Ouais. Ah, Martine, là, les affaires que cette fille-là peut dire, là, ça va tellement ridicule, là. Tu sais, elle a dit... Quelle autre affaire de fou qu'elle a dit, là? Ah oui, elle avait dit que l'Italie avait pas le droit de voter pour qui voulait. Enfin, la même, là. Affaire de fou, là. Non, je te dis, elle fait une très bonne job. Il a l'air une bunch de buffoon. Là, faut qu'ils amènent ça au so-called UN, là. Les résultats, là, les observers, là, les international observers, là. Puis là, ben là, ils vont bien dire qu'elle, c'est une buffoon, là. Il a dit, ben voyons là. On était là, nous autres. T'étais où, toi? T'étais pas là? Ben, ferme ta gueule. C'est ce qu'ils vont dire. Oh, they're gonna say, I was there, you were not there, so what the hell are you talking about? You know, you're inventing stories just to do problems. They're gonna say that? I mean, everybody with a fraction of her brain understand the concept that it all lies. Je vais voir, moi je vais voir si j'ai d'autres résultats. Ok, c'est ça que je cherche. Je cherche ça, là. Voting. Ok, bon, ça je cherche là. Ouais, les turnouts sont extrêmement hauts. Sont tout au-dessus de 50%. The turnout are extremely high. And yeah, I'm fine, Sharina, about yourself. Long time no see. Fait que là, ça va être très intéressant de voir ce qui va sortir de tout ça. Bon, on va aller voir ça, l'histoire de Kherson ici, là. 96.75 of vote of Kherson region support accession to Russia. Oh. It seemed that Kherson has finished counting the votes. Look at this. This is breaking news. If it's accurate. When does the news come out? 12. Wow. Wow. 12:17. That means like not even 10 minutes ago. Well, like actually 21 minutes ago. Okay, 96.5 of the voter said yes. And after the counting was 100% of ballot. So Kherson, the chair lady of the election commission, Marina Sakharova, said earlier that, well, that was earlier. But now the votes during drag kickoff with Oness with ending. The vote ended, well, okay, ended at 6 o'clock. Ça, l'avantage est dans l'Est, nous autres, hein. Les autres sont 7 heures à l'avance de nous autres. Je sais que pas Mourad, comment il s'appelle, Roman, il a dit que, lui, il était à Donetsk, il a dit que ça devait être fini pour 10 heures. Moi, écoutez, hein. That's the advantage of being in the East. They're ahead of us, so we don't have to wait. Okay, as a respect number. Who the hell is that person? Oh, that's Serbian people. I'm here every day, Shireen. I'm here every day. Ah, c'est très positif, Marcel, non? Ok, fait que le Serbian people are supporting whatever happens. That's great news. Bon. On regarde s'il y a d'autres nouvelles. Ah, c'est super cool. 1 hour. Je vois les dernières nouvelles. Là, le problème, c'est la pipeline, là. Bon. Ok, fait que là, il faut attendre. Ben là, le Kherson, ça a l'air que c'est décidé. Bon, là, il faut attendre des nouvelles. Ok. Bon, là, je vous quitte. Je vais revenir dans à peu près une demi-heure. Juste à l'heure, là. Dans à peu près 25 minutes, je vais revenir. Là, je vais aller dîner, là, puis je vais revenir tantôt. So now I'm gonna go eat, and I'll be back in about 25 minutes. And we're gonna have to wait for the result, and we'll see what the results are. Okay? So, see you then. Thanks for joining. I'll see you soon.